Heroin use in the United States is something that's become an epidemic of epic proportions. The number of people dying each year continues to grow at a record pace. Without the help of the community, friends, and family of those addicted to heroin, the problem will only get worse. Heroin users place their drug abuse as the number one priority in their life, ahead of everything else, and will do anything to get their high. When a heroin addict does this, he or she is even replacing God by worshiping something else besides Him. Heroin use is affecting all communities, whether urban, rural, the inner city, and the suburbs. No one is immune to this epidemic. Heroin addicts will lie, cheat, and steal from anyone and everyone, including their family, to obtain the drug. Heroin users can be found in your neighborhood, schools, communities, your place of employment, and even in your own family. You could become a victim of crime of a heroin abuser, or see a loved one's life destroyed by the drug. I've worked in the criminal justice field for 9+ years and have dealt with a large number of heroin addicts, and have seen the impact the drug has had on individuals and how far they'll go to obtain it. In the correctional field, I've seen a number of people come into the jail, and while they're in jail they go through withdrawals, completely rid their body of heroin, but as soon as they get out, they start using again. According to a 2014 report, in Ohio alone, there's been a 366% increase in drug overdose deaths from 2000 to 2012. Data from 2012 reveal a significant shift in this trend, with an apparent leveling off prescription overdose deaths contrasted with a large increase in heroin-related deaths. Communities, parents, law enforcement, and spiritual leaders must be educated to know the signs of a heroin user, which include but are not limited to drug paraphernalia such as spoons with burn marks on them, hypodermic needles, lengths of rubber, a change in a person's personality, their habits, and their appearance. If people don't know what they're looking for, they don't know what people they need to get help for. According to Bakken, DeCamp, and Vischer in 2014, research has supported the idea that religion and spirituality initiates decedents for individuals for substance abuse. Data from a treatment admission systems show that almost every demographic increasingly reported heroin as a primary drug of choice every time. The Lucas County Sheriff's Office, where I'm employed, has actually started a program that's the first of its kind in the country. It's called the Drug Abuse Response Team, also known as DART. In 2014, Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine gave a grant of $650,000 to the Lucas County Sheriff to start this program. And what the program does, instead of putting a user in jail where they won't receive any sort of treatment to try and not be using heroin, this assists them in getting them into treatment programs and making sure they stick with the program. The initial $650,000 grant covered the salaries for 2 victim advocates who provide assistance to overdose survivors. The money will go not only towards those salaries, but towards renovations for what is known as the Zeph Center in Toledo, Ohio. It's a recovery facility. According to Jennifer Moses, who's in charge of the Zeph Center, she says, "I've never seen a program produce successful outcomes in such a short period of time. Access to housing is limited for individuals with addiction, so they often return to the same environment and cycle in and out of treatment. Recovery housing provides individuals a sober, safe, and supportive place to live, offering them hope and the opportunity to beat their addiction." After that initial $650,000 grant Attorney General Mike DeWine gave another $150,000 to expand the program because it had been so successful in its first year. This program has the potential to change the way heroin addiction is handled. Instead of incarcerating the user for drug possession, the main goal is to rid the user of their addiction and not have to worry about having to continually arrest the person. In the Ten Commandments, the first commandment states, "You shall have no other gods before me." And this is exactly what heroin users are doing. They're placing heroin ahead of everything in their life. Once a heroin user has been placed into a program to assist in eliminating their dependency on heroin, they must follow through with the guidelines that have been set forth. If a person truly wants to get better and not have to depend on heroin to get through the day, they have a fighting chance to kick their habit. One of the ways to most effectively do this is by reintroducing them to Christ. Research by Curler, Deitzer, and Levin in 2014 shows for those who succeeded in rehabilitation, explain their transitions to sobriety, referencing such as hitting rock bottom, being inspired by others to succeed, finally wanting to change, and most prominently, a renewed commitment to faith. Heroin overdoses have also impacted urban communities in northeastern Ohio with more intensity than prescription overdoses. In conclusion, it's up to our communities, parents, law enforcement, and spiritual leaders to be educated and aware of the heroin epidemic that has plagued the United States. Allowing this education to provide heroin addicts with the necessary steps to get the help they need, instead of standing by and watching individuals destroy their lives, our communities, parents, law enforcement, and spiritual leaders need to rid the United States of this extremely dangerous and deadly drug. Everyone needs to do their part.